Good morning and welcome. It is that time again, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. It is Meals with Melissa, where I show you healthier ways to make things that you may love. And of course, I keep it super simple because I don't do complicated. So this morning, we're gonna make a really great recipe. We're gonna make zucchini fries. Now, you know, I've never been a huge fry person, although I do eat them from time to time, but you know, whenever you can have a healthier version of something, that's a great option. And so today we're gonna do low carb fries. You know, when I was looking for this, the benefit is, thank heavens to my awesome, I have a good friend and doctor, Deborah McDonald, who grows zucchini in her garden. And of course, when you grow it, you know, it kind of grows like a weed. But since I don't have a garden, it's kind of nice to get some free zucchini as we're working at it. So, you know, I've tried to find some really great recipes for the zucchini, and this is one that I found, like I said, is low carb. I was a little frustrated looking for recipes to make zucchini fries just because a lot of them require breadcrumbs of some sort, and of course, that's not gluten-free and that's not low carb. So this is a great recipe. It's super, super simple, and it doesn't take very long either. So we're gonna get started. You know, I highly recommend that you ask your neighbor who has a great garden full of zucchini. And of course, I know it's almost the end of the season, but I know there's a few still out there. You can get some at the store. They're just not quite as beautiful nor as large. But I did come up with some great pieces of zucchini. I cut it really thin, cleaned out the insides. I'm going to cut zucchini fries out of it, and I'm gonna leave a little bit of the skin on there so that it adheres together. It doesn't fall apart, it doesn't get really mushy. So we're gonna cut those up in fry-sized pieces. And of course, it's up to you as to how big those are. And of course, the thinner they are, the quicker they're gonna cook. And we are gonna roast them in the oven. We're not deep frying them, although you might be able to try an air fryer. Not quite sure. Okay, so I'm gonna cut those up. And of course, I do have some that I've already made so you can see what they look like. But I'm just creating them, I'm just, you know, making them nice and thin and small so that they'll cook really fast. Okay, so those are ready to go. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is we are going to take some pork skins. I believe those are called chicharrones. And we're gonna throw them in the food processor. So you're gonna take about a cup of pork skins. Now, I know that they make some spicy ones, not really my gig, but if you'd like to make it spicy, I'm guessing you could probably do that. But I'm gonna throw them in my lovely little food processor that I have used more in the last few weeks than I ever have. And I'm going to pulse those until they're fairly fine, okay? Because of course, the smaller they are, the better that they'll stick to the zucchini fries. So I'm gonna throw my little lid on there, okay? I'm gonna make those fairly fine. Then I'm going to add a half a cup of grated Parmesan, okay? Now this is shredded Parmesan, but since I'm throwing it in the food processor, I guess it really doesn't matter anyway, right? Okay, so we got a little bit of protein, a little bit of fats, but virtually very, very little carbs. The carbs are gonna come from the zucchini itself, which of course is the best type of carbs. You know, carbs are not necessary to completely cut out of your diet. I always tell people, don't cut out carbs, cut out the crap. That's the deal. You cannot put the processed food like a Pop-Tart in the same category health-wise as, say, an apple. They're not the same. Okay, so we're gonna do about a half a cup of Parmesan, because Parmesan tastes amazing. And I'll throw this back on for a second. All right, and I'm gonna throw that in a bowl, okay? Because you know we're gonna create a dip. Okay, we're gonna dip one, dip the other. So I've got my bowl. I'm gonna throw that in there. Okay, so that's ready. Now, in order to get the mixture to adhere to our zucchini, we're gonna make a liquid, okay? So I'm gonna take 2 whole eggs. Super simple, doesn't take very long. 2 whole eggs and 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, okay? Which of course has almost 0 carbohydrates in it. That's why we use it. Okay, I'm gonna take a fork and mix that really well together. And we're about ready. All right. Now, I have my pan ready to go. Now, the recipe itself says to use a rack on top of a baking pan. Unfortunately, at my house, those have all been packed away at the moment. So we're just gonna use parchment paper. Parchment paper is my friend recently. We're gonna put parchment paper in on top of our pan so that we don't have an issue with sticking. And then we're going to dredge these through the liquid, the crumble that we've made, or the coating, and then we're gonna bake it. So I've got my pan here ready to go. There's my parchment paper. All right, so I'm gonna use a fork and a spoon to help. Make sure that stays. All right, so I'm dipping it in the egg mixture. It kind of looks like coconut. The crumble kind of looks like coconut, the coating there. Okay, I'm gonna use my spoon to help coat it. And again, I will include the recipe down below, okay? And this recipe is courtesy of a website called lowcarbyum.com. And of course, I find all these on Pinterest because Pinterest is my friend. All right, so I'm gonna cover these. I'm gonna put them on the pan. Now I actually, because I didn't use a rack, I actually pulled them out about 3/4 of the way through and flipped them over. And you wanna leave these in the oven, preheat your oven to 400, but you're gonna leave them in for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna throw these in the oven. I'm gonna show you what they're gonna come out like. All right. So actually, I will just show you right here. All right, so if you can see here, they're nice and golden brown. You're gonna cook them till they're golden brown. Highly recommend that you eat them warm because of course, cold zucchini after it's been cooked, probably not a fabulous texture. But you could actually use some low carb ketchup. You could make a yogurt, a Greek yogurt dip, something that's nice and low carb, that tastes great to dip up in there. And you know what? I've heard that multiple people on the site, when they tried it, said that their kids would even eat it. Not a bad option to convert your family into something that's a little healthier and a little bit better for them. So try it, see what you think. Like I said, I will post the recipe down below. If I get a moment, I'll actually work out the macros as well. You can use some other options. If you need to do a little bit lower fat, you know, you can do egg whites instead of eggs, but you know what, make sure that it all fits your macros. Use MyFitnessPal. That's the best way to make sure that you're getting all the nutrients that you need. Because of course, we eat for fuel. We eat to gain the nutrients, not just the calories, okay? So have an incredible day, you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Meals with Melissa.